So Street Fighter 6 has been revealed, and now that leaves the question of who returns, who stays behind. So I found like a tier list of all the playable Street Fighter characters, and I'm going to start ranking. Here's our tiers. We have Confirmed, which is characters that, through official announcements or leaks, we know are coming back. Please, this is the character tier of, I really want these people back. Whatever is, yeah, I guess, I don't really care. I mean, I can take them or leave them. No is, I don't want them back. And EX Hell is where the Street Fighter EX characters go, because they're most likely not going to be in this game at all. I would love to see at least one character return as like a guest if Capcom and Eureka can get past, you know, whatever sort of bad blood might still exist between them. But they're probably not coming back. And this is probably also where I'm gonna put like unplayable boss characters and just anyone that's just like probably not on the table for whatever reason, which I call it EXL because it's mostly characters from Street Fighter EX. I don't know why Ken is first. Sure, whatever. Ken, Ryu, Chun-Li, who else was leaked? Okay, so this is what we've seen from that leak. This seems to be who is returning so far that we know of. Obviously this isn't including any new characters because they're not on this list. Very popular characters for the most part, and obviously Jamie and Luke are here because they've already been shown. DJ's a little out there, but you know, it's always nice to have a whack Guile. We're gonna start all the way from the beginning in Street Fighter 1. We have Birdie. You know, this is kind of difficult because I kind of liked Birdie, but then in Street Fighter 5, I just wasn't a fan of what they did with him. I don't know. It just kind of took away everything that was like... I mean, he wasn't the coolest character or anything, but it's like even what he did have, they took and threw it away. I don't know. If he can get some of that back, I'd be okay with it. If he's gonna be just like 5 and he's not going to have a weird, physically impossible hole in the middle of his mohawk, then yeah, so I'll put him in whatever. Eagle absolutely needs to return. I know Dudley kind of has like the rich English gentleman thing down, but honestly, I feel like if we can have Sakura and Karine, we can have an Eagle and a Dudley. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're getting married or something. Who knows? Maybe that's the new storyline. Maybe that car was a wedding gift for Eagle, you know? But yeah, he definitely needs to return. He's got a fighting style that no one in the series really uses outside of him. He's only been in the first game, unplayable, and Alpha 3, the portable versions, not counting CVS 2, where that version of him like was ported from. Yeah, he's a cool character and he really should return. I don't know why they haven't brought him back for 4 or 5, but speaking of Street Fighter 1 characters that also should return, Gekki. He is like Vega. Not really, he just has the claw thing. But honestly, they made Vega a motion character in Street Fighter 5, which I don't like. Really, I feel like if they wanted to do that sort of stuff and like, you know, have the motion character version of Vega, like Vega but not a charge character, they should have just put it on Gekki, because they already have another claw guy, along with like, you know, his shurikens and teleportation that he does in the original game, which makes him like 10 times more interesting than like half of the characters in that game's roster. I honestly don't know why he hasn't come back. Fighting games always can use more ninjas, you know, like that's always a very easy, you know, hey, we're gonna put a character in a fighting game, put in a ninja, there you go. Easy, simple, done. I know in the Udon comics there's like some sort of connection between Gekki and Ibuki or something, I think, and I know that's not canon to the games. Maybe we can get some sort of elaboration on that, or maybe they can do something with that. Gin is dead. I know death in fighting games means absolutely squat, but his whole character arc since Alpha has been, I have a terminal disease. He just needs to die. It's not like he's in the Ukyo Tachibana category where he's like super popular and they can't kill him off. There's like 3 people that play Gin It's cool. He's a difficult character to play. In terms of, like, switching between two different movesets, we have Zeku now, so if we want to have at least one of those characters in the game, we have someone that can do that. I just don't think Gen is really popular enough to justify including. I don't think he's important enough to the story or anything. I think they should actually let him die if they want us to take anything in the story of this game seriously. Not that we will, because it's a Street Fighter game, and Street Fighter games don't have good stories. Joe. Who the hell is Joe? Like, seriously, who the hell is Joe? He was literally, like, when they did a popularity poll, he was literally the only character that was less liked than Rufus. Rufus had more fans than Joe. Like, Joe is more generic than the Final Fight enemies. There are Final Fight enemies in this series. I'm not talking about the bosses either. I mean, Poison's a random-ass enemy in Final Fight, and she's still more interesting than Joe. So, yeah, Joe gets to be in no. Retsu? I think that's Retsu. God, I'm gonna have to... That's not Retsu, is it? I'm gonna look like a fake fan. Fake fan. Fake fan! It's Lee. It's Lee. I can't really think of much interesting about this guy, honestly, though. In some of the newer artwork, they give him, like, a gourd or whatever that he carries around, like he's a drunken, like, fist type of guy, which Jamie already is, so that even if they wanted to do that with him, it's kind of redundant. Yeah, no, we have a Drunken Fist character who actually is a character, whose name I didn't forget, so Lee goes in no. Mike, who is not M. Bison, sorry, Balrog. Japan M. Bison, International Balrog, or Boxer. He's not the same guy as this. It's, like, confirmed. So at that point, why? Why even have him? Nope. Retsu, he's, like, the first guy you fight. So he's, I guess, sort of... He's got a little bit of legacy, but I don't know. So, like, they've kind of retconned Retsu into people's backstories, like, you know, he's a friend of Goken's and whatnot, but again, I don't know if there's really much interesting that they can do with this character. No one really has interesting moves in the original Street Fighter, for the most part, so really anything cool that they do with him, they'd have to just make up. So, honestly, at that point, you can make a new character. Let's put him in no. Adon. So my friend and I actually had a joke a while back about how the story of Street Fighter 6 was going to focus on, like, all the characters no one cares about, and the subtitle would be The Fate of Adon. Kinda shows you just how important he is in the grand scheme of things. I don't really care for Adon. I don't know. Maybe they can make him less annoying if they bring him back. There was literally, like, a pro player, I think, who said, yeah, I would totally play as Adon, but he's just too annoying. I can't stand listening to him. You know what? I'm gonna have to put myself in that situation there. There's one king of Muay Thai. This dude, I don't think this dude's even worthy enough to be the court jester. Saget.
Oh, Bob Saget!
Bob Sagat.
Oh, Bob Saget!
I know his name is not Bob. I'm gonna put him in please. I know he's, like, annoying in every game if you don't play as him. He is top tier in quite a few games, but honestly, like, he's a really cool character, and his most recent appearances in the storyline of the games where he's, like, turned away from Shadowloo and he's actually, like, kind of becoming a better person and stuff is actually, like, really interesting. Like, not necessarily, like, redeeming himself and, like, becoming a full-on good guy or anything, but just moving away from a life of crime and just kind of chilling out. I think that's honestly pretty cool. And I think it'd be really cool to see him, like, go up against Ryu now that he's even more, like, mellowed out, you know, even more of a master and whatnot. Maybe they get to have, like, their final rematch or something. But yeah, I like Sagat, so he goes in please. Edmund, honestly, kind of meh. Okay, so somehow I just completely missed that I forgot to put Edmund in the confirmed category, so yeah, he's in there now. Barlog. I'm not saying that there's no room for, you know, more than one boxer or anything. Honestly, I just like Dudley way more. I feel like most people do. I guess they don't play the same. I don't know. I mean, yeah, and I guess if you can have, like, 5 Shotos, you can have 2 boxers. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, Balrog, boxer, whatever, M. Bison, Mike Bison. I just personally don't really care for him, so that's kind of coloring my view here. I mean, this whole list is subjective, if that wasn't clear by now. There's no way to make an objective list of who would be the best to return. This is really all just subjectivity at the end of the day. I'm gonna put him in whatever. Don't really care. Meh. Vega. Barlog. I like this guy, but as much as I like the character, I don't know. I mean, for one, I don't like what they did in Street Fighter V. And while I could say, hey, bring back Gekki or whatever, apparently there's like another character with claws if the leaks are to be suggested. Or if the leaks are to be believed. I'm actually gonna put him in whatever. It feels weird to do, because he is a character that I personally like. I don't know, he's just like, I think especially now, because we're hopefully, please, for the love of God, moving past the Shadaloo stuff, you know, when he's not, like, part of the Heavenly Kings or whatever, I don't really know what he's gonna do storyline-wise. Not that the story is the most important thing in this series. Bison, dead. I like Bison, don't get me wrong. We all like Bibson, we all like Dictator, Vega. I just want him to be dead because he's been in, like, 4 of the games now, you know, like, well, 4 of the series, 2 Alpha, 4, and 5. Can we move past him? I really don't want more of his body-hopping shenanigans and psycho power and crap. I don't know, maybe they could have a character that's like a Shadaloo person that's like trying to rebuild his empire. That story, it's kind of overstayed its welcome. I don't care if they bring Bison back and he's in a new body and he's bicycle pumped up his muscles like an alpha, like, no, just no. Fei Long! I know that some Capcom guy said he couldn't return, and then apparently that was, like, just complete BS, but I don't care about him. I know, you know, Bruce Lee's, like, a legendary figure and all that, but I just do not care about characters that are literally just, traced over versions of some actor. Unless they do something different with him, which I'd be fine with, but if he's just going to be Bruce Lee, no, I don't want that. Every fighting game does this to pad out their roster. The only fighting game that has like a Jeet Kune Do character that isn't Bruce Lee is like, what? Virtua Fighter? So no, I don't want him to come back unless they do something different with him, which is why I'm putting him in whatever, because I do think that there's room for him to kind of, like, be done differently. Maybe he can use his nunchucks, which, granted, I guess that's still kind of Bruce Lee-based, but it's at least a little bit, you know, it's a little new. It sets him apart a little. Falk, whatever, I don't care too much for him. Probably, if he returns now, they'd try to make him a little bit less stereotypical, but again, if the leaks are to be suggested, there's someone who's, like, connected to him backstory-wise. Maybe they'll pull a Chief Thunder with him and, like, make him really cool. I don't know, but I just never really cared about him. I don't know. Maybe he'll get to have that gun this time. Who knows? Violent Ken is just an extra form of Ken, and I know people are making memes in the backstory, like, that Ken's backstory in this game is like, oh, you know, Eliza took the kids, and I lost all my money because I bet on NFTs or whatever, but I don't think that's going to turn him into Violent Ken. I think that's just going to turn him into really sad boy Ken. So these guys were from the Street Fighter the movie arcade game. I think their names were like Blade and Kyber and 2 other ones. I don't even remember. They're going in EX Hell. I know they're not EX characters, but I just really doubt they're gonna return. I mean, maybe there's just gonna be a wayward Bison soldier, but again, we need to be past Bison with this game. Sawada? Yeah, I know he's not coming back, but I always, this is like one of those characters that I always want as a joke, and I'd actually love it if he came back, especially if he had that one super that he does in the console version where he just like puts his arms up and just slides at you. Charles? I think he's like dead, isn't he? Nash is like dead, or at least implied to be, and I know in fighting games it doesn't mean anything, but like, his whole story is connected to Bison. If he's not around, then why is he here? What's his new, like, zombie status now? Like, is he just gonna get a job working at McDonald's as a zombie? Dan, as much as I'm like, I don't want too much Shotos, Dan's a legend. Dan has to come back. Stan Dan. Guy, meh. I don't care too much for Guy. I mean, I like Final Fight, but he's not my favorite character, and I just don't care too much for him. Next, Rose. I don't really care for her that much. Not much to say. And I know her story's sort of tied to Bison, so... Sodom, the only alpha character that hasn't returned in the modern games. He needs to return in the modern games. His whole weeb thing is even more relevant in today's world than it was when the alpha games came out, so they could have a ton of fun with that. Just like every time he wins, he can be all like, it's just like one of my Japanese animes! Rolento. I mean, I don't mind Rolento, but, you know, he can come back, he can stay, no big deal for me. I mean, I feel like of all the Final Fight characters, there's ones that I'd like to see back more, and there's ones that haven't had as much exposure, so I'll put him in whatever. Sakura, I absolutely want to see her come back. I know I've said, like, I don't like having too many Shotos. Hopefully she continues to, like, change and kind of, you know, I mean, and that fits the story, too, of, like, you know, she starts off idolizing Ryu, and then, you know, I guess she kind of would find her own way. Evil Ryu, alternate form. If Ryu's supposed to be, like, on a higher level of mastery now, he shouldn't be falling to the Hado. I don't want to see Evil Ryu back. Evil Ryu is literally just Ryu cosplaying as Akuma. Shin Akuma, I guess he could come back as a boss, but, you know, it's like, how many Shin Akuma boss fights have we had in this series? You know, we can move on to some new stuff. Cody, yes. I like what they did with him in 5. I want to see him continue. Maybe he becomes a corrupt mayor and he goes back to prison again. I don't know. Especially because Metro City seems to be, like, actually important to the game, so I feel like that means he would come back. I do not care about the dolls. We do not need 50 camis in this game. This is, like, Bison stuff. Don't care. No. Junie and Julie don't get to come back. Karine, I don't really care, and I kind of don't want her to just completely take over Sakura's character and reduce it to just, we're rivals, like what happened with Lily and Asuka in Tekken. I don't know, she can come back, I guess. I don't really care. Mika, why not? I don't know. I mean, she's kind of like wavering on the edge of please and whatever. But I mean, if you've seen, you know, Cammy's classic costume in the leaks, you saw that she was absolutely thick, so yeah, no, she goes to please. I hate Ingrid. I hate Ingrid so much. Screw Ingrid. I do not like Ingrid. Maki, another Bushinryu character. I'd kind of like to see her over Guy, but I'm also not like, we absolutely need to see her. Now that I think about it, she hasn't been in a main numbered Street Fighter game outside of Alpha 3 Upper/Max, which is just a port. I don't think her involvement in that is canon, so actually, you know what, I'm bumping her up. Alright, now we get to the EX cast, and, alright, I'm gonna jump cut while I put them all in EX hell, but I would like you to know that I really do like the EX characters. I just don't think that there's any chance that they're going to appear. Definitely not all of them, I don't know. Maybe we'd get a guest character out of them. Maybe like Blair Dame or Skullomania or whatever would show up. That would be cool. I would actually really like that. And yeah, the Silver and Gold Bisons are technically EX exclusives in their alternate forms, and again, I don't want Bison anyway. They go to EX Hell too. Now on to the best one, Street Fighter 3. Alex, he was like sort of the protagonist in Street Fighter 3, sure. Doodly, yes. Like I said, I know Eagle also fits the aristocratic English gentleman role, but at last we checked, he's a bachelor. If there's anyone that fits his, you know, he'd want to move into his mansion with him, probably be Dudley. I don't know, whose property would they live on? I don't know. Hopefully he'd be just as fun as he is in Third Strike. If he did return, you know, hopefully we'd get some really hype kills with that Rose. Elena, yes, please return. I want to see Elena in this game's graphics looking like classic outfit Cammy in that league. Ibuki, yes. I really don't have much to say, just yes. Necro, I don't hate Necro. He is wacky. I don't hate him, but I'm not entirely sure how he would work in the more realistic aesthetic. I mean, apparently Blanca's coming back. You know, if you tone down his hair a little bit, really he's just green. Necro is like, I don't know. I mean, not only is there already Dalsum, so you kind of have two characters occupy that same gimmick. Well, and Blanca, again, Blanca has the electricity, so he's literally just like Dalsum with a Blanca move. And I know he's not actually that. I just don't really see what they would do with him to justify his inclusion. Oro, if Oro had to keep one arm bound so he didn't like accidentally kill people because he was so powerful, I feel like by now he'd probably, if he's like still immortal, still on whatever mountain training, like I feel like by now he's like ascended. If he's not just like he probably is just like left this earth. He's an energy being or something now. He's in another universe. But even if he hasn't done that yet, I feel like he's probably gotten to the point where he'd have to tie up both of his arms, and Elena's already the kicking stuff character, and also Oro looks super weird in this aesthetic. He'd probably look like a Resident Evil character. Like, dude will look super freaky. I don't even want to think about it, so I'm gonna put him in no. Sean. My boy. We had Laura in the last game. We know Sean's involved in this game, too. We still don't know if he's going to be playable at some point, but I really hope so. And I really hope he gets to have more, like, basketball moves and stuff. I want him to just straight up, like, I know, like, the basketball taunt, like, it's super fun, super hype. I want him to just, like, straight up be throwing basketballs as, like, his Hadoukens now. Or just, no, put the energy into the basketball. Have him throw a basketball and it's got like all the Hadouken energy on it. That is what I want to see. I just want to see him actually like, you know, progress, you know, be stronger and not be a joke like he was in Third Strike. You know, especially because we know Ken is like, I don't know, something's going on with Ken in the artwork. I mean, he looks cooler than he does in 5. Maybe he's depressed because he's like, oh my god, they let me look like that in the last game? But I feel like maybe Sean just like kind of breaks away from Ken because he's like, you know, I'm like good enough now. I'm good enough to be a fighter out on my own. I don't really need like training anymore, or at least, you know, he thinks that, and like he goes off on his own and he starts doing well, and maybe that gives Ken kind of like it just kind of leaves him feeling inadequate, you know, like, well, you know, my students graduated, like, what do I do now? And also I just like Sean. Sean's great. Union Yang, I don't really care about them. I'm just gonna put them in whatever. And I feel like they're kind of a package deal. Well, except for Alpha 3, Portable, and CVS 2. I don't know, I kind of feel like you can't have one without the other. So if I add one, I'm gonna have to take up 2 slots. I don't really want to do that, so I'll put him in whatever. If they do something cool with him, hey. If they don't. Gil was the villain of Street Fighter 3, and I want them to stick with the Illuminati stuff in this game, at least in some way, but I don't want him to be like, I don't want it to just be like, oh, we gotta go fight Gil again. Fight Gil again? Gonna go all the way to his island?
The title of this game is Gligligan's Island, not Jungle Improvement.
I like Gil, but I'm going to say he shouldn't return. Hugo, or, well, when I was a kid, I thought he was called Huge. Because I was watching my dad play Third Strike and I just like misread part of the screen and I thought his name was Huge. I'm fine with him. He can come back. He doesn't need to come back, but whatever, you know. Urien, my boy, one of my boys. Urien, crazy diaper man. I love Urien, and again, if we're staying with the Illuminati, I want to see him, like, dethrone Gil. Maybe he gets to be a boss or something. Maybe he gets to put the paint on him. Maybe he gets to grow the hair. Maybe, you know, he scalps Gil and just wears his scalp. He's like, I'm the leader of the Illuminati now! But yeah, no, I really like Urien, so I want him to return. And again, if we continue with the Illuminati stuff, I want him to play a role in the story that way. Maybe Gil's gone and there could be like a crisis within the Illuminati of like, who gets to take over. There's gonna be like factions of like Gil versus Colleen or something. I don't know. That would be cool to see. Makoto, she's kind of like boring in a cool way. I know that sounds really weird. Like, she does cool stuff, but also like basic stuff. Like, she's a character that does cool stuff and doesn't try too hard about it. Q. I love Q. I know people, we still don't know whether or not G is really, like, connected to him, if they're the same person or what. I feel like G maybe might be involved in the Illuminati, but his whole president of the world thing makes me think that he'd be more of a leadership position, whereas Q is like, Q does not strike me as the leader of the Illuminati. If he even works for the Illuminati at this point, which, again, we don't even know, like, what his motivations are or anything. If he even is, like, part of the Illuminati, he's more of, like, a soldier or a spy or something. He's a boots-on-the-ground guy. He's not, like, the leader, if he's even part of them, and he's not just some rampaging beast. I absolutely love Q, and I'd love to see him come back. Remy. SNK Guile. I like Remy in Third Strike, but I don't know, story-wise, I don't know why he would return. I don't think he really needs to be in the game if we're going to have Guile and DJ, and maybe even if Nash shows up again, he definitely doesn't really need to be there, because, I mean, we already have Guile and Whack Guile, may or may not have Zombie Guile. Why would we need Emo Guile, too? It's too much Guile. 12? I'd love to see 12, like, they really do seem to be stepping up the animation in this game. And I'd love to see some of the wacky stuff that he does. I don't really like 12 at all in Third Strike. Part of that is just because he's useless. If they manage to make him an actually viable character, then sure. But again, he might look a little weird with the aesthetic. I don't know. Having his, like, flying squirrel wings and, like, turning his feet into an axe and stuff. But if they can animate all that fluidly, then it would be really nice to see, I think. It really, that's all what it hinges on, is can they actually do something interesting with that? Abel Abell, I don't know. I know people say he's got a fun moveset. My friend really likes playing as him. He is just the most boring loaf of bread. I just don't care. If they make him really interesting, then sure, he can return. But he doesn't even have the Ryu excuse of, like, you know, he's a classic from way back in the day, way back from before fighting game characters had to have personalities. He's just boring. Sea Viper. Yeah, we haven't seen her in 5. You know, it'd be nice to see her with her gadgets and stuff. El Fuerte. I wouldn't mind seeing him back if they did something with him. He needs to be different. A lot of people are kind of annoyed by him. Again, my friend liked him. You know what would actually be really funny, though? If he became a heel, and his chef persona was like a Gordon Ramsay type. He becomes like a Mexican wrestler Gordon Ramsay, and he just swears at everyone. That would be hilarious. I don't think they'd do that, though. So, unless that happens, no. Yeah, no. I don't want to see him back. I don't really care about him. I don't know. If he does, he at least needs to zip up that jacket of his a little. Oh god, I don't want to see that, man. We don't need to see that in PS5 graphics. Goken is dead. Maybe. I don't know, actually. He should be. No, wait, yeah, because they said Ryu's wearing his, thing, like, the cape thing, in, like, respect to Goken, which kind of implies that he's dead by now. Maybe Akuma finally killed him, I don't know. Another Shoto. I know he's a really weird Shoto, but I don't care. Seth, don't care. Don't know what they do with him. Like, all he does is take other people's moves anyway. I haven't played as him in Street Fighter V. I don't know, maybe he's really fun in that game, but I just don't care, you know? Hakan? Yes. I want to see the weird oil man. I like Hakan. I've never really played as him, but I just like his wackiness, his oiliness. Kind of fun. He's a family man. He went home to be a family man, like Guile told him to. Yeah, it'd be cool to see him return. Oni. If Akuma's already returning, then nah. I know he doesn't play like Akuma, but, like, if they decided to have him go in that direction of, like, he gave in to the evil or whatever, then that'd be fine with me, but, like, that should be his character. Don't, like, give another slot to a eviler Akuma. To Capri, very hated character when we first saw her, you know, just Cammy with a mask and less ass, but when we got to play as her, she had a really interesting moveset, you know, a rush-down charge character. I'd be fine with seeing her return. I think story-wise, so like last time we saw her, I don't know if she still like completely hates Cammy or whatever as of the 5 story, but I mean, someone needs to hunt her down for her war crimes. So I'd like to see her, but I do want them to evolve her a little bit away from a Cammy skin, you know? Like, obviously her gameplay's different. Yeah, I'll put her in whatever. Poison! Poison's hot, I want her to come back. I know you're gonna say, well, that's a really shallow reason for wanting the character to come back, but it's my list. Shut up. Shut up. Metro City is a big focus here, then that's where she's, like, from. Kinda just want to see her again. Bong, no. I'll put Laura in whatever. She can return, I guess, but I'd rather see Sean. Nikali, didn't he, like, die in story mode or something? I know they didn't do, like, anything with, like, they set him up to be like a big part of the story and then did like nothing with him. We have seen that the physics in this game are a lot better, so we wouldn't have the same clipping problems with all his head tentacles. I don't want to see him back. No, I don't want Abigail to come back. Colleen, yeah, so I suggested this earlier, like an Illuminati power struggle, like Urian and Colleen are at odds over like who gets to rule the Illuminati if Gil is gone. Maybe she gets to wear the paint. I would definitely like to see her in Gil's outfit. Now we have Manat, one of my favorite characters from Street Fighter V. Yeah, sure. I know she's like connected to Rose, and I said I didn't really care for Rose, but if one of them's coming back, I want it to be Manat. Zeku, I already said this before with Gin, he can occupy that slot well enough, and he's a strider. That's really all that needs to be said. Falk? I don't even remember, like, anything about Falk. I'm just gonna put her in whatever. G-Man. I don't know. Haven't played as him. Can't say much about his playstyle, but I know people have said that he's, like, one of the more fun characters in 5. His whole president thing, you know, maybe he's a target of the Illuminati, and I don't know, maybe they put him through some crap, and that's how he gets Q'd. If he is Q, I don't know. Because I'm kind of like, oh man, other people like him. I'll put him in whatever. No. Kage, what even are you? You're not evil Ryu, but you are. Get out of here. Lucia? Yeah, I guess I'd be okay with Lucia coming back. Kira from Rival Schools? Rival Schools references? Yes. Anything related to Capcom's Forgotten fighting games, I will take. Hell, if they had a Darkstalkers guest character, I'd take that. Probably not with the more realistic aesthetic. I doubt they'd do it. Who knows? Maybe Morgan's gonna show up. I wouldn't even mind that. 11. If 11 returns, he would literally just be like the Mimic character like he was last time. So I'm gonna put him in no because I don't care. I guess I'll put him in whatever, because it's really not that much effort for them to make him. Although if they did bring back 12, that would kind of conflict. I'll put him in no. It was kind of like a fun little like integration of something from the series lore into a, you know, the, I guess, mechanic of mirror matches or whatever. But yeah, that's my list of who gets to come back and who doesn't for Street Fighter 6. This is going to age terribly, and I know Capcom is going to squash all my hopes and dreams. If you want to do that too, then go to the comments and tell me why I'm dumb and dislike the video. Remember to subscribe so you'll get to see more videos you hate. I'm gonna go play Gran Turismo 4, because I've been having a lot of fun with that recently. So, yeah, don't hit the pace car. Bye!